Hello everyone, Curtis White here from the Cannondale Cyclocrossworld.com team, and welcome to the Cyclocross World Cup in Hulst. This is a brand new course for us as the race wasn't able to be held in the traditional venue in Hulst for public health reasons with Corona, but we're a few kilometers north on the Perkpolder, right next to the ocean. And the conditions today were around 37 Fahrenheit or about 3 centigrade, windy with a few muddy and slick sections mixed with some hard-packed, fast, heavy pedaling sections. And selecting the right tires and pressure today wasn't an easy task. Early on, we see there are some heavier mud sections, as we see here, which in this section here later on became a run. Some slick corners and off cambers halfway through this lap, and some climbs that you really need traction on. There are also plenty of heavier pedaling sections where you wanted a faster tire. And I'm a rider with a bit more power, so I chose to have more traction through the technical features of this course and run a Challenge Baby Limas tires at 1920 psi. And the whole shot was a bit of a pinch point, but nothing too challenging there. It was the heavier mud as we dropped into before going under the flyover that caused a bit more chaos. We had to dismount and run some of these heavier mud sections. But as we pass by pit 1 here, you'll get the lay of the land pretty quickly, as we're almost sea level right now, but we're basically going up, down, and over this massive water barrier for the entire course. These efforts of sprinting up and over this hill in the wind all day really add up. So focus on carrying your momentum well and finding a group that you're in to try and use that limited draft effect to the best of your ability is really important on this course. Here, we bend to the right, use your momentum going up and over the side of this barrier, and it kind of plateaus up over the top, and we're going to be going into a set of barriers. Now, if you've been following along with the previous videos and seeing different courses with the X2O Bodkammers Trophy and the Super Prestige or World Cups, you'll see that there's different barrier heights and distance between the barriers. The World Cups typically have 40 centimeter barriers. These seem like 4 to 5 meters apart, but they're a little bit wider, so they have advertising on the other side of them, but makes it a little bit easier to hop. I'm a fast runner. I'm confident with my running over the barriers, so that's what I chose to do all day, and I was on par with just about anyone hopping. So pump through that ditch, we're bending to the right, and we start to enter the most technical part of the course that really got very slick. That top layer of grass really seemed to slide up because you really wanted a more aggressive tire to have traction through these parts of the course. You had that little off camber there. We're going to be approaching a much more difficult off camber in about 100 meters or so. But I mentioned earlier that this course has a lot of variation. We have these hard-packed, pedaling heavy sections that you want like a Challenge Grifo on, but then you have the slick off camber coming up like you want a Baby Limas on, which is what I ended up running. But I'm hopping on the wheel of Timo Kielik. You see he goes tape to tape, really uses the entire course here. Watch his rear wheel here. Lifts it up, re-angles his bike, cuts across the off camber in that turn. And for a lot of the fans in the US, this off camber was very reminiscent of the course in Jingle Cross in Iowa City. So that was cool to have a feature like that we've seen before. So after this off camber, we drop back down, carry your speed well, really trying to maintain traction, but we're going to be hooking up to the right. No need to hit the brakes all through here. You want to maximize your momentum to the best of your ability. Up, this is the steepest climb of the course. Really got to muscle the bike up. It was really easy to lose traction near the top here, which in the pre-ride I did, unfortunately. But swinging left, using the entire course to maintain your momentum, then cutting over to the right, it seemed like there was a bit more traction on that side. But dropping back down, putting it into a harder gear, rolling that gear over, maintaining that momentum. And we're going back and forth in this bowl. Right, left again. And this is another section that you really don't need to hit the brakes at all, especially at race pace. Use the entire course to arc the corner a little bit better to really just maintain that momentum. And it's a little bit added rest that you get later on in the lap. So we're coming back down by the pits. This is another heavier pedaling section. Most of the technical bits are done now. We're going to be going up and down a couple more steep hills later on. But this is, again, part of the course that you want a faster tire like a Challenge Grifo or a mid-range tire where you have a little bit less rolling resistance in it. These efforts will add up in the end, but that's the beauty of cyclocross. You don't have a course that fits one tire specifically. You need to make a decision for what's best for the overall. Here, going tape to tape again through that corner, really minimizing using the brakes, maximizing the use of the course. As we pass by pit 2, you'll see this part starts to get a little bit heavier. Some nice ruts were forming around these corners here. Really, once you're in the rut, you don't really lose it. The wheels are in it. You can trust that you're going to have your momentum through that corner. This corner got a little bit greasy. No rut was really forming through that. It was really maintaining your traction and starting to pedal earlier on just to keep the wheels rolling. But we're going to be approaching the flyover here, which if you use it right, you come into this section right, off the bike, up these steps, remount quickly at the top. And if you're on a good gear, you can spin it up quick. You'll see there's a massive mud pit. This is the first mud pit that we dropped into right after the Hulst shot. But you want to use your momentum to the best of your ability, find a good rut, and try to pedal up this section, because through the women's race and into the men's race, this hill got really torn up, and it was a 50-50 shot whether you were able to fully ride that hill. But if you're able to ride it and maintain your momentum and traction, that was an easy 2 or 3 seconds you saved. So we have a couple steep climbs coming up, dropping down off the polder, 180 turn. This got a little bit greasy at the bottom. There wasn't one defined rut really. Muscle the bike back up. If you were able to arc it wide, you carried a little bit more momentum. You could use that, a little bit less of an effort coming back up the hill. But as the race wore on, those outside lines got really greasy, and it was easy to lose traction. So you had to cut the turn a little bit wider and use a little bit more muscle to get the bike back up to speed. Here we see fellow North American Mike Van de Ham come right by. I follow his line just to see. He was also on a more aggressive tire, more of a mud tire, so he was able to really hook up really nicely through those corners, carrying it wide, going all the way to the right, looking for that green patch. We're really only a couple hundred meters from the finish line at this point. This is another one of those heavier pedaling sections. Nothing slick on the course right now. It's just pedaling. If you're just off the group, try to get back in the draft, because this is a real headwind part of the course. This is really the last opportunity to really get back on terms before going back onto the start-finish line by pit 1. Really important to be racing the group as well as racing the course here. So we have a funky little off camber. A nice rut was forming on this off camber, and it was a near 180. We're going up over this hump, and we drop right down to the finish line. A couple nice ruts were forming here. And that's the course. It's a heavy pedaling track with some slick tactical features and transitions where you have to focus on using your momentum well and be confident in the equipment that you chose to run. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more videos through the course of this cyclocross season and share with your friends. You can visit curtisjwhite.com/inthered for more content. Take care, stay healthy, keep riding. We'll catch you in a couple weeks at the Zilvermeer Cross in Mol.